What to do, Airheads? You're here back for your Wednesday update. Spicy day yesterday. It's shaping out to be a spicy day again today. Hot off the heels of a solid God candle yesterday. Are we going to retrace this whole thing today? I'll tell you what I'm watching right now is that $27,000 level. That is what is holding us in place. All of this right now acting as support. It's a psychological level. It's a previous level of support and resistance. And it is where currently a lot of liquidity sits. So that is going to be important for us to hold. Talked about finding entries off that level in Discord earlier this morning. Watching 27 and 28K, right? We were right in the middle of liquidity. We licked into 27K. That was a spot to take a long. Got a nice bounce off of that level. Today, we're going to be talking about what happened yesterday, how we could have seen, how we did see that coming. Not necessarily the grayscale and the huge pump that we had, but we're going to show you a couple things that I think you'll find interesting. Take a look at a couple of news pieces. We are fresh off the heels of GDP and ADP job numbers today. Markets are reacting accordingly. Bitcoin had a huge day yesterday, so it's kind of doing its own thing today. But we're going to get you caught up. Take a look at the charts. Try to find you guys some entries. Dissect the markets a little bit. Probably take a look at a couple altcoins. And just have fun with it today, guys. So buckle up. Do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe. Turn on notifications. And hop in Discord. Discord.gg/Alpha Aere. Join the growing community. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so what happened yesterday, right? Well, we pumped up. We pumped our faces off after a huge dump that we had on really Thursday and Friday of the 17th and the 18th. So, we talked about this briefly, at least I talked about it on camera briefly, that there was a hidden bullish divergence, right? Where price action is going up, right? After a huge pump and a huge dump. But on the flip side, we had a low and then a lower low. So that's a hidden bullish divergence. What we didn't know was that we were going to get that SEC grayscale lawsuit yesterday, right? Now, we knew it was coming in the pipeline at some point, a decision one way or another. They could have gone either way, right? They could have won, they could have lost. So, there was a lot of people thinking, myself included, that this was could play out. They don't always. These divergences don't always play out. And they should never be taken just on a blind entry. No one indicator should be taken on a blind entry, right? But there's a possibility that we would get some upside here off of that hidden divergence. Obviously it was a news catalyst pump, so it took us up to this level fast. Maybe we would have broken up anyways at some point, but not that fast and not necessarily yesterday and not in one day. So that was interesting to me. But on top of that, so you guys know I love the 4-hour chart. That is my go-to time frame to find patterns, trends, market sentiment, look at the SMAs, the EMAs, the RSIs, all that fun stuff. So if I flip on my Lux Algo indicator here, right, and I zoom in, I'm going to turn on my fair value gaps to 4 hours, right, to match the chart that I'm on. Here, let them populate a little bit. There we go. So let's go to the wick of our entry yesterday. Look what happened. We tagged this fair value gap from that drop all the way down. So very, very interesting there. So this level from about 28,000 to 28.2, it was a volatile swing up, right? There was many ways to come to that as a level of rejection, right? So this is one of them. We cleared right up into it. There was liquidity up there, was another reason. It also happened to be where the 21 and the 50 moving averages were on the daily time frame. It is where the 200 moving average, which is where we flip, me personally, you do what you want, but that's where I flip my sentiment. 4-hour chart's like my go-to chart. If we're above the 200 moving average, I start to look for longs more than I look for shorts, right? I mean, I look for both all the time, but if we're below it, that's when you get into that short mindset. And look, we started to see the divergences at about noon. I mean, a little bit before noon yesterday. We started to see the lower divergences form on the smaller time frames, right? Where price was still going up, but we were cooling on the rest of the indicators, which can, not always, but can indicate a potential reversal, market reversal. And that's what we saw up here. That's exactly what we saw. We've been coming down since. Now, another thing to consider too is we created God candles do this, so do devil candles, right? We got a huge fair value gap below us here. Doesn't mean we retrace this whole thing. It also means we possibly could retrace the whole thing. And when we saw it with that XRP lawsuit win where we traced the whole thing, even XRP now has retraced 100% of that. So like we did talk about in yesterday's video, this lawsuit started to make its rounds through crypto Twitter, YouTube videos. A lot of people just assumed that this meant that a ETF was coming, right? That it was fully approved. It's not. It's still got to go through the process. It's not a win. The SEC can come up with another reason to deny it. However, we also, let me find it here. We also have some potential ETF news by Friday. Let's open this up. Posted that this morning. So approve, deny, delay. SEC to weigh in on more planned Bitcoin ETFs this week. They're set to initially address. So the initial address of proposals by BlackRock, Fidelity, Bitwise, and others after delaying its decision on the proposed ARK Invest, the 21 shares Bitcoin ETF. So there is a possibility, it's not a 0% chance, right, that the SEC approves a Bitcoin ETF this week. It's not a zero, it's a non-0% chance, right? So there is that. You need to be aware of that in the back of your mind. So if the SEC does approve these Bitcoin spot ETFs, it's good. Bitcoin's going to go crazy. And what's sad is retail is not here, right? Dumb money, we call it, is not here right now to take advantage of this pump. It would be if this got approved in a bull market and everyone was out here talking about Bitcoin, holy crap, it'd be insane. But don't worry. If it's a big if, right? These get approved, it's going to skyrocket us to the moon. So you need to be well aware of that. If you miss it, right? Just like you missed yesterday, if you missed yesterday, beware of FOMO. If you miss your entries, and I did, I missed it yesterday. Literally 10 minutes after I left my house to take my son to the dentist, I look at my phone and the Discord notifications are going crazy. People are freaking out. Bitcoin price pumps to the moon. The SEC news comes out. The Grayscale news comes out. I missed it. Cool. No big deal, because guess what? There's going to be a billion more opportunities to ride God candles or devil candles down in the future. I always tell people you got to be careful with FOMO. You just do. Just let the market catch itself, right? Let it range out, find a tradable range again so you can trade it to be on the winning side of that FOMO. Like the only thing you can do at this point right now, right, is trade price action. Follow the smart money. And right now, if we look at what the smart money is doing, I mean, it's just trading flat. Smart money's doing nothing. It's sitting on the sidelines. $1 million plus orders are just sitting on the sidelines right now. Taking a little bit of profits. Obviously, they took profits up here, right? And then, what happened up here? What happened up here? Well, dumb money decided to long at the top, just like they long the top at 69,000, just like they long the top at 62,000, like they long the top at the recent 31.8. And I know there's some people out there who are probably like, well, I got in and I it made money yesterday. I got in around here or something. Well, good job, right? I mean, this obviously when I'm speaking, it's generally speaking. Don't be stupid. But most people, I mean, you want proof? Here we go. Price went up, everyone else down, right? I mean, it's just the whales control the market. Statistically speaking, everybody lost yesterday except for a small handful of whales, period. The whales are doing the opposite. And this is just a 5-minute chart. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. It's going to be more noticeable, right? You can see it right there. I mean, it's just, they're doing the opposite, right? The MMs, the smalls, they're doing the opposite of what the whales do. You don't have to be a whale to swim with them. Swim with the whales, not with the guppies. That's what I always say. Follow smart money, right? Don't follow the dumb money. Whales carried us yesterday. I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there that someone got a phone call because the price action started before the news broke. Tinfoil hat, who knows? My point is, try to avoid FOMO anytime you miss an entry on a God candle like that, because just take a look at this, right? Let's take a look at the 1-minute chart yesterday, right? There we go, right? They weren't all green. They weren't all red. Lots of up and downs, and these candles were crazy. I mean, this is 1-minute candle, like what 1-minute green candle, 1-minute red candle, both 1%. And that happened several times throughout the rise up yesterday. So very easy to get stomped out, especially if you're running like a 5% stop loss on a 5 times leverage. God help if you ran like a 20 times leverage yesterday and tried to make an entry. You probably got stomped out. You got to be careful with this stuff. And when we got up to the top, there was even crazier wicks. I mean, some of these wicks were several percent in a minute candle. That's why you got to just, if you missed it, let me put it to you another way. 99% of trading is waiting and discipline and patience. That is 99%. TA is easy. Figuring out which way the market's going is easy. The hardest part is waiting for an entry. So if you miss your entries, you got to wait for them. I'm getting off my soapbox now. So what does Bitcoin do now? That's what everyone wants to know. How do you trade this? Where do you look for entries? Well, it's simple, right? The only thing we can really do right now, since market structure has been broken so many times, market structure is ugly. This has not been a fun market, right? Like I would give anything to go back and have a structure like this, right? Like a solid tradable channel. I mean, I would give anything to go back to something like that. We haven't had that really since the 16th of June. I mean, this wasn't great. I mean, these wicks were stupid. This wasn't great. We kept them breaking down, I mean, one thing was for certain, right? That XRP win lawsuit was the top, right? All the divergences, everything else that happened up there. And it's just been going down since, but not in a tradable channel. You'd pump one day, you'd retrace the whole thing the next day, breaking market structure all over the place. Don't really have time to catch your legs, break market structure again. The only thing you can do at this point is look for entries off of support resistance levels, play your price action swings, and follow smart money. That's about the only thing you can really do. That's why I said this morning, 27, 28 are the biggest levels of liquidity on the book. It's not out of the realm of possibility. We went back to 28 earlier this morning, or 27. Luckily, we got a bounce right off of 27K. That is a good place to have taken an entry. If you missed it, wait, because guess what? Price action is going to come to you again. So the silver lining in some of this is a couple things. So we haven't really technically made a lower low yet, right? So we got our high, our low. That was a lower low, right? Higher. We pumped up, higher, higher. There was your low, it was a higher low, higher high. And technically, you don't want to really include the wicks in this because those was a crazy liquidity wick. That's still a higher low. So for now, the overall market structure, even though it feels bearish right now, is bullish, right? And if this is another high and we don't retrace this whole thing and come down and make a lower low, I mean, we're going to be building back, guys. It's that simple. So we're still doing okay, right? You look at the weekly chart. Let's go to it just to kind of show you here. We draw our trend line, right? Actually, it was like this, right? Something like that. So we tried to retest that channel. Now we got rejected off of it. That's a bearish retest. We really need to close back above this trend line to start talking really to get more bullish, right? Because for the entire year, this thing held up as support, lost it. We tried to make a run back for it yesterday off of that grayscale news. Looking like it's fizzling out a little bit today. So if we do make a lower low, that's where you start to get worried and we start to talk about coming down and retesting these lows down here around $20,000. But for now, price action, trade your liquidity levels, trade those bounces, and visit your opium dealer. So the only thing I'm doing today is following smart money. I'm keeping my eyes on the whales, both on the spots and the perps. I'm watching the CVDs and I'm watching volume. I'm trading price action today. I'm trading price action based on trends, based on liquidity levels, and what everything I just talked about is doing. Not necessarily following lagging indicators today. And spoiler alert, I don't really follow lagging indicators anyways. I've made a TA series talking about RSI and all this stuff. They're lagging indicators. So they tell you what we've done in the past. They're not going to, they can maybe help predict what's going to happen in the future. But really, I'm following price action today, man. I'm following these liquidity levels, watching this liquidity roll in. And then just like taking a bounce off of 27K, right? Moving my stop loss up, I get stomped out. Oh, well, I made a positive trade. I won a trade for the day so far. I get stomped out, wait for it to come back to one of these liquidity levels, take an entry based off of that. That's all you can really do right now till we start really ranging out. This is the day after that market structure break, right? We've only had a few 4-hour candles since that top and that retracement level. If I had to guess, just on a gut feeling, I say we're coming down more. Targeting this middle point here for a short down to about 26,692, this fair value gap, but it's possible we come right back down into the channel. We retest the previous value area high. So let's take that, right? It was from here to here. So it's pretty much right where the middle of that channel is. So right about 26,580 is kind of what I'm targeting right now for a short down there. So I think we did a good job of covering what happened yesterday, what I'm looking for today, those key levels, watching those moving averages, playing price action, watching the liquidity, the order book, how the money's flowing in, watching the whales. We did get some economic data news this morning. We got a few pieces of economic data news, right? So U.S. job growth slowed sharply to 177,000 in August, which was below expectations. U.S. second quarter GDP growth revised lower. So GDP increased at 2.1%, its annualized rate last quarter. The government said on Wednesday in its second quarter GDP for the April to June period. This was revised down from 2.4% pace reported last month. And then finally, on the economic side of the news, macroeconomic, right? Treasury yields fall after reports suggest slowing economic growth. Now we're back to like bad news is good news, right? To where you want a little bit of a pause, right? To help spur some deflation in the economy. So it would seem that traders are liking the bad economic report. They're not bad, but they're under expectations. I mean, both the jobs, both the GDP. But, you know, when yields drop like that, it signifies that what's happening, money's coming out of yields, going back into stocks, which you can see happening, right? Look at the markets right now. NASDAQ's up, although it's retraced from its highs today, right? And S&P's up. Dow Jones is kind of flat. Dollar dropping, right? And the yields down 0.75% on the 10-year to 2-year comparison there. So, you know, traders seem to have liked the reports this morning. Just someone needs to tell that to Bitcoin. So U.S. Treasury yields were lower on Wednesday as invested today. We're digesting reports that suggested a weakening economy, right? So as of 12:06, so this was 30 minutes ago, 10-year yield was down 2 basis points at 4.104 after falling as many as 10 basis points on Tuesday. So there you go. We're going to take a look at a few altcoins now, kind of what's trending, take a look at Bitcoin dominance. So altcoins, we're still in this descending wedge pattern, right? This is the logarithmic view of it. So if you're looking on your chart, it may look a little bit different, but, you know, targeting a breakout at some point, right? It's going to be alt season, just not yet. We're still still winding in this channel or squirreling in this channel like a squirrel tail, right? So we're right in the top of that channel right now, but it's still a very real possibility that we come back to the bottom of the channel, which is still another possible downside for alts of 23.58% as they bleed into Bitcoin, right? I mean, we saw it yesterday. So Bitcoin was squirreling in this channel for a long time. This was from April of 2021, right? So years in this channel. We finally broke to the top of this channel and we retested it and we're getting a bounce. So we got all the way up to like 52% Bitcoin dominance. If you don't know what this is Bitcoin's market cap dominance compared to other alts. So while it's at 50% right now, that means Bitcoin of all the crypto out there is 50% of the entire market cap. So as this rises, that means alts are going to bleed into Bitcoin. It means alts are going to not be as strong as Bitcoin is. Bitcoin's on fire right now. It's the talk of the town, the ETFs, everything else going on. It's where smart money is going right now. It's not going into alts, as you can see. It's just been a constant downtrend down in alts. They haven't been building back as strong as Bitcoin has. But if we get a bounce here, I would expect us to come back and retest this 52% level. It's that simple. Maybe we just channel out here for a while. But if we start to flip this, that's when it's going to get real scary for altcoins. So a 20% downturn in alts is a real possibility. It just is. That's what the charts are telling me. You know, is it 100% certain? Nothing is. But, you know, it's also possible we could break out of this channel, right? We could break to the top of this altcoin market cap and start testing some of these previous levels. But realistically, that's probably not going to happen, especially off the heels of these ETFs. Smart money's going to be in Bitcoin. That's what's going to rocket up first. Then once that rockets up, finds a ceiling, then you're going to start seeing all season come into play. So we've been talking about LPT a lot. We're going to check on this because it is having a good new daily candle. It's one of the few that are up right now, up about 5%. We talked about getting an entry here. We got our buy signal here on the 4-hour, right? We made some profits along the way. And then, you know, we're still haven't crossed back under, right? So technically still in the play, right? I mean, up considerably, up hundreds of, 100% since inception, since we got that buy signal. I mean, there was a lot of confluence here of what happened, but here's what's happening now, right? So we could not flip that 7.934 level, fell back down to the 7.14 level. Now we're trying to flip the 7.59 level. So if we flip this, right, we're going to try to go for that 7.946 level again and flip that. That's just price action concepts, guys. Do a little SEI update here for Brian out there. I know we looked at this coin on a live, like literally on the launch day of this coin. I know he made a bunch of money initially on the initial run up, and then it's just kind of been fizzling out since. But that's what happens when new coins launch, right? And you have airdrops and things like that. But it tried to build back. It's been having a good 24, 48 hours, really. I mean, since we bottomed right here, right? I mean, you can see we're bottom right into this bit of, this order block right here. And then what happened? We're right into the middle of this order block right here. So price action concepts, follow the smart money, right? If we can't flip this, we're coming back down. Where do we come back down, right? Well, probably, my theory would be probably coming back down to visit this order block right here. If we can flip this, we're going up to here, right? Now, there's a lot of liquidity sitting up here. So this would be a logical target level if it has a good run. If SEI can start flipping these, I mean, from where we're at now to the middle of the next order block is a potential another 6% run up. Up to here, it's another potential 70% run up. And we got some levels we got to flip along the way. The momentum needs to stick, right? So we need to, let me pull this up a little bit. You can see it's just been a sell-off since inception. We had that huge money sell-off. It's starting to build back, though. We got a bullish divergence there. We're starting to see where that bullish divergence play out right now. We'll have to see how strong it is. If we can continue to have this money flow in, if that continues and keeps up, I could see us taking at least this 0.165 level. If we can flip that, we're going to start building our way slowly back up to that kind of 0.25-ish level. Taking a look at Moon, Reddit Moons, we've been talking about this coin a lot as well. We're seeing a bullish divergence right now. And this would make sense for a lot of reasons, right? So you came up, you made a high, you made an equal high, right? Could technically be considered a higher high if we just kind of knock wicks out of it, which you should when you're talking about market structure like this. But, right, came down, you made a low. Is this the lower low? Are we going to run back up and retest this? This is an all-time high up here, guys. Especially if we can flip this, we're going to continue up. Now, we need the momentum to continue, and don't underestimate the Reddit community and all the apes over there, because they are for sure some apes. But we got a bull div here, right, that hasn't really started to play out yet. But as long as really is, this would be my logical level to long or buy right now until we start kind of cleanly making our way up for a retest, because it looks like it's coming down right now. I mean, the market's bleeding, everything's coming down right now. I mean, yesterday was a good day, coming back down. A little bit of a inverse shoulder, head and shoulder that played out there. So there was a lot of confluence to yesterday's kind of pump up, but now it's starting to come down a little bit. I would probably look to stack around here. We should get a bounce off of there and then make our way back up for another retest. But we need this money flow to turn back green, and it's working its way up. It is, but this bullish divergence, something to watch out for there. We're at about 20 minutes here, so I'm going to cut this short, guys. We looked at some alts. If you want an alt TA, do me a favor, hop in Discord, discord.gg/Alpha Aere. Hop on in, give me a shot. I'll TA some coins for you, or drop them down below. I will throw it in tomorrow's video, but if you want it sooner, hop in Discord. But I think we got a good video here. We talked about the economy, the GDP, dissected, the alt market cap, Bitcoin dominance, few altcoins, and I got you some good info. Hope you guys learned something in this video. Smash the thumbs up. Appreciate you guys. I'm working on my next TA video. I think you guys will really, really like it. See you guys later.